about this? So the first critical choice I made on my journey to enduring success was to pick up the phone when my sister called. You know the story. This isn't the platform.
Yes.
Most people know the story. But so for me, that first choice was profound. Since then, I have made other first choices that weren't so profound, that were much more practical. But what I have come to believe, or what I learned in that moment of picking up the phone with my sister, is that success begins with making a first choice. Like, nobody can choose for us. We have to make it. And so what I'm curious about is, what is a first choice that you've made on your journey that when you reflect, you know it has impacted where you're at today?
So definitely the first thing is when I realized my calling is to work in a comedy, in comedy, it was immediately followed by fear. Fear came right after that. It was like, there's no way I want to do this. And like my dad, part of that's his value I had growing up. My dad's a Presbyterian minister, and he's one of the most humble people you'll ever meet. And I admired so much his humility. And he never looked for the limelight. And when people would put the attention on him, he always would deflect it to somebody else. And I was like, well, now how do I reconcile that with going someplace and saying, hey, look, I think I'm funny. I want the microphone. And it was really difficult to do that. But I finally got to a point where it's like, okay, look, if this is my calling, that's what I'm supposed to do. And I can still have humility inside of this and saying, yeah, I want to step up, and I do believe I have something to share. That's taken me a long time to believe that I have something of value to share with people. But I think when you talk about your brokenness, as you know very well, it's such a beautiful gift to people, because they feel like, hey, I'm not alone in this world, and somebody's been down in this hole before where I am, and they found a way out. And now they're up there on stage sharing their brokenness. But this is going to be a ladder for me to get out of this hole of despair. So that definitely taking that first step of saying, because I didn't even want to tell people that I was a comedian. I thought that was such an arrogant thing to say. Because if I tell you what do you do? I'm a comedian. I'm telling you that I think I'm funny. And to me, that was, I thought that was an arrogant thing to say, but it's not. It's like, it's not me. It's a gift I've been given. It's a spiritual gift I've been given. All 8 billion of us have a spiritual gift. We all have a spiritual gift. And this is my spiritual gift, and I need to be a good steward of it. And I am not being a good steward of it by hiding it, by burying that talent and saying, look, I'm, who am I to get up there and be funny, if that's what I've been called to do?
In that vein, that you've honed your craft. It is a craft. It's a gift. It is a gift, but it is a craft. And that's right. And I hear what you're saying about who am I too. Like when I first started my journey of really creating a business around inspirational speaking, I was like, I'm an inspirational speaker. It was almost like I had to really work on and come to terms with and own and embrace, I inspire, right? Like you are a comedian. That is a gift. I have a gift. All billion of us have a gift. What we do with that gift is a choice.
That's right. And I remember at TEDx, boy, that was a tough journey to go through with you listening to your story. It was hard for me, but it gave me so much hope at the end. And I remember, look, we had a lot of good speakers there. You were the only one who got a standing ovation. And I think it was because, by far yours was the most vulnerable. And I think you were the one who opened up and shared about your brokenness in such a profound way that it moved people emotionally. Wow. And that was encouraging for me to see, okay, this is how you do it.
And there was a reason you were the wrap-up speaker. Right? And so how about
because they forgot, they kept bumping me. That's what it was. They were like,
Tim,
Nick
you're
kept
going to be,
bumping
but
me.
you wrapped us up, which was just awesome. And but before I go to the second choice, I'm actually with your TEDx is called Follow the Fear. And follow the fear is a first choice you made is to follow your fear. Right. Look at you.
That's right. It is, and it is, and I did that on many occasions, but I still struggle with it. Like I called you last week because I wasn't able to follow my fear. So there are moments, and I said this in the speech. There's moments when I can follow the fear and do this, but there's moments when I get stuck, and this is like the first choice. It's like, what's the first step I can take? What's a simple step I can take, and let me see what happens. But in the last couple of months, I've been trapped and had a hard time. I just got lost again, and I had a hard time taking that first step in many ways. And as I told you, reaching out and asking if I could have a conversation with you, that was a choice that I made, and that was a step that I made, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but
and I embraced it.
I mean,
and
I had faith.
And we had,
you did,
and look at, and then we were on the phone on Monday, or we're catching up on Monday, and I was like, okay, I am not procrastinating this anymore, because it is so. And I know, like, I'm totally going off here. There is something about human nature that gets in the way of asking someone else for something. And the fact of the matter, like, I had procrastinated asking you to be a guest because I know you're so busy. I know you're traveling around the world. I know you do all those things. And I'm like, well, who am I that Tim is going to choose to spend some time? But you know what I mean? And look at us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I do know what I mean. That's the same thing.
Yeah. So how about this? Get over it, world. Get over it. Right.
That's so important to that's one thing we really need to do is show up. And whether that's picking up the phone, whether that's sending an email. Like, I was thinking about it this morning on the run with these guys. I'm not I still struggle with that. Like, who am I to be out there running with these? Because these are great trail runners, but there are times when they're injured, and even when I'm just going slow or I got a problem, that's holding me up, one of us will fall back and run with the injured person. But it is such a gift to be out there with these guys. And I really, and we just walked today, it was just a hike. And I wish more people would explore that and just get out and go for a short hike, because it is so good for your mind and body. And it really helps you get out of a dark place. It can really help you get out of a dark place. And I just remember thinking I could never do this. And then I started, you got better and better, and you get to a point where you can run trails.
Yeah, and you've created a community, which is going to take me to my fourth critical choice that I want to explore with you. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Choose and Become interview series. To check out more episodes, go to www.trishkendall.com/podcast, or go to any of your favorite podcast channels, including YouTube, under Trish Kendall Speaks, and you'll find this interview and more. Choose and become.